Good afternoon, Be Well Nation. Welcome back. Is this our third part of our series?
I think it is part 3. We're moving on to the how.
Strategy.
Yes, you need to get one for the new year. And the time to do it is right now. Don't wait until January 1st and then say, I've got a to-do list this long. You've got a couple of weeks. You've got 3 weeks to put a plan in action so you're ready to go January 1st.
Don't be that person laying on the couch in the food coma January 1st. It's at that weak moment and the infomercials start and then it gets
like, I need that program and that program and that one, and then I'm going to the grocery store and it's all or nothing. And you know what you'll probably pick? Nothing.
So let's talk about strategy. What are we going to do? First of all, it's stop thinking about what I should do as far as fitness or eating, what worked for your sister-in-law or your neighbor. What do you like to do? I'm a crazy person that thinks that movement should be enjoyable.
Absolutely.
And there's certain things I enjoy, certain things I don't.
Right. So maybe you are a gym person, someone who wants to go to a facility, but maybe you're an outdoor person. You like to move that way. Or maybe you are someone who likes to stay at home. You know, those are all options. Do what you enjoy.
Do what you enjoy. And I have to say, for women especially, we have different seasons in our life. And there's a season in your life where you may not be able to get out to a facility for a group fitness as much as you love that. I know I had the season where it was a stroller and kids and taking walks.
Or the living room's your gym.
Living room and getting jumped on. And that's just a season in your life. It doesn't last forever, but you have to be realistic about that.
And that's a great point. I need to stop you for a second. Be realistic. Don't think about what the perfect situation would be, what the fastest way to get there would be. Be realistic, right?
Yeah. So what do you enjoy? Do you enjoy music, swimming, outdoors,
dancing, lifting weights?
But don't be afraid to try new stuff either. And I have to say, if you've been inactive for a long period of time, the enjoyment factor might take a while. Because it's gonna be an uncomfortable process. But physically it may be uncomfortable, but if you go to a facility, it should be an enjoyable experience. It should be welcoming. You should feel comfortable with the people, with the instructor. You should feel safe. Even though maybe physically it's not as enjoyable as you would think it would be right off the bat.
Well, there's a difference between tough and unpleasant. You know what I mean? You could say, wow, that was really tough, but I like the music, I like the instructor, I enjoy the people in the class, and that's the difference.
And that's important.
Yeah.
You need to be in an environment that's enjoyable, doing something that I like to move. My body likes it, so I wouldn't understand. I don't understand why people choose things that they hate to do just because they think that's what they should do. When there's so much out there that you can do.
Right. Yeah. Don't say I have to do this. Find what you want to do.
Right.
Yeah. The second part of the strategy requires money, and you have to think about how much you want to spend, how much you can spend, and here's that word again, realistic.
Realistic.
You have to be realistic. You can't say, I'm going to hire a personal trainer, it's going to cost me $200 a week, because how long is that going to last? You want it to last how long? 6 months, right?
I want you to make a commitment for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get rid of the 10 pounds in 10 days, and we're talking about scientifically proven programs that work, that are realistic. At Be Well Nation, we deal with weight management, we deal with fat loss. I could go out and do a number of crazy things right now and get numbers to drop on the scale within a day or two. Doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy for me or that it even matters, because water weight, all that
or that it would be permanent.
Right. So we're talking investing 6 months time in a realistic, safe, effective eating and fitness program.
So when you look at that 6 months, you have to look at your budget, right? And you say, okay, for 6 months, where is this money going to come from? And I don't need to talk to you about budgeting and where your money comes from, but if you're struggling with it, you're going, man, I don't know, that gym membership seems kind of high, or that trainer might seem kind of high. Look at what you spend every week and say to yourself, okay, I have a couple of Starbucks lattes every week. That's $10, if not more, 10, 12 bucks, right? If those are the small ones,
wow.
yeah, right? How often are you having other things in your life? Maybe your nails done. How often do you go out to eat? And just adjust your budget. Be realistic and say, I want this. This is what is going to work for me, and this is what I'm going to cut out or move over to make it happen.
Most people can't afford to live fit and unfit at the same time.
Yeah.
You're choosing one or the other. And I say this all the time, especially with eating. People will tell me, people will know the price of salmon. They will complain about the price of fresh produce. No one ever complains about the price of Doritos. You can't afford both.
Yeah.
You can afford, so you start having to make decisions.
You do have to make decisions because it is going to be a permanent lifestyle change. So you don't want to say, well, that was nice for a month, but I'm not doing that again.
Right.
You know? So the effort that you're going to put in, the time, think 6 months. And think about it right now. Look at that budget right now and see where you can make those changes.
Because it's going to have an impact on what you choose to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it needs to be, we're saying 6 months, but it needs to be lifelong after that. It
Right.
needs to be something that you can continue.
Right. 6 months is the launch, right? Think of it as
Yes.
that first step, 6 months. So right now to summertime, that's your first step.
Don't even come in here week 3 of January and tell me it's not working. I will spontaneously combust.
Well, that's a good point. That's a point. Patience. You need patience. Patience needs to be part of your strategy.
Yeah. So, how much realistically, what are you going to do? How much can you afford to do? What can you afford? Because I don't care what you can maintain for 1 month. It's pointless. Because then what?
You tried it.
You tried it, and it didn't work. And then, so we have time, what we're going to do, effort.
Yeah.
What are you willing to do? How many days a week? To start off with, we encourage 3 days. 150 minutes, right?
That's the recommendation, right? 150 minutes. And that's really only 3 days a week. That's 3 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
So can you do that? But here's the thing with fitness. You can't outmove poor nutrition. So you need to think, how much time am I willing to spend on grocery shopping, meal planning, preparing food? Because that effort, that can be, if you're not used to doing that, it's a learning curve, and it's a time, it takes time. There are online resources that can help you. A simple way to begin with eating is Choose My Plate.
Right, for the government recommendation. Yeah, that's a great resource for it.
And it's free, and you can track. And they have recipes that will email you every day.
Yeah.
So we have what we're going to do. How much is it going to cost? How much time is it going to take? How much effort?
So the strategy begins now. You start to strategize now for the first of the year. That's it. That's what you have to do.
Yes. And let's talk about that, because how many memes have we seen on Facebook? Schedule your exercise. It's the most important meeting with yourself. That's really great. But what happens a lot of the time is we get out our calendar and we write it in, but we keep writing everything else in too.
And so I know what you're going to say. The exercise is the one that gets pushed out from all the other appointments.
Yes.
It's the first one to go.
Yes. So you have to look at your schedule. What do I need? What is important? Am I saying yes to things and doing things because that's what I've always done? And believe it or not, I've had this lesson in the past year. of having to step back and do less. Ironically enough, the world kept revolving without Leslie Benedetto being on the committee or doing this or